Hey YouTube, and thank you for watching Junkworks DIY Garage. Well, as you can see, I'm in front of my truck here doing some work on it. And in the midst of doing that, I decided to do some measurements on my garage here. Now I was going to put this, I'm going to do a video, a 6-month video on this lift, kind of the things that I've done or needed to do or adjust or move or whatever I needed to do to make this lift kind of work in my garage, not to mention the few things that you just kind of need to know and things that I've done. Anyways, and kind of give you an update 6 month, how do I like the lift video. But in the midst of that, I realized that a lot of the things are kind of just informative videos about this lift, and that video would be way too long. So in this one, I am just going to give you the measurements, and it'll basically be the minimum measurements I think you need to have to fit one of these in a garage and be able to comfortably work on a vehicle around it. So hopefully you enjoy this. Yet again, there might be a few cuts and edits where I went on to other kind of information and then went back to this information. So hopefully it meshes well enough, but I'm not an expert at doing video by any means, so hopefully you can be a little bit kind to me on that aspect. Alright, enjoy the video. Well, it may be kind of hard to tell, but my truck is sitting there on my lift, up in there as far as I can get it, and I can stand underneath it completely straight up and walk all the way down. I might hit my head on the rear pumpkin, but otherwise I can get it underneath here. So every car I have, I can walk underneath right now the way it is without modifying my garage, which is nice to know. So here are the measurements of my garage to get this in here with a 1-ton GMC on. So they are on 255, 85, I believe, 20s. So 20-inch wheels, 255 tires. So I don't think they're quite a 35-inch tire, but they're, I think, close to it. I could be wrong. But regardless, it's as tall as I want it to be. So I have to be able to lift this up at least in my case, at least 3 inches. This lock, I got to be able to lift it up at least 3 inches, which basically brings it to the top of this area here, but obviously up here where it's locked in, but up to the top of this area so that I can pull this enough to let it come back down. So that is the biggest thing. When you're lifting a car and you don't know for sure, make sure you have probably at least 4 inches just for safety. I'm real close to the 3-inch mark, but I did lift it up past here just to see if I could get it off, and I should be able to get it off. It started moving the lever, so I should be good. If I'm not, you'll find out here in a minute. One other thing you got to think about when you're doing this is if you have one of these bridge jacks like I have, I would not be comfortable with it where it is lifting this up enough to get like the tires off or anything like that. I definitely am going to have to bring it down when I work on this. I'm going to be working on the front end of this, so that's what I'm going to be doing. That's why I have the truck on here. But to lift it up enough to get these tires off, I'd be hitting the ceiling. So I'm going to have to bring it down before I can start lifting with that. So that's something you need to think about as well. The dimensions of my shop. From back to front is 31 feet. So from that door behind me to the wall behind you, which is 4 or 5 feet that way, is 31 feet. Side to side, from this wall over here to that side over there, which is my mom's apartment is on the other side of that wall, is 23 feet. Now, if any of you have watched any of my shop updates or my shop tours, garage tours, you'll know that I have the tall part here from floor to ceiling in just the part where my lift is sitting right here to the ceiling is about 12 feet, give or take. Well, pretty much take, you know, a little bit here and there, but 12 feet will more than cover what I have. Let's see here. The short side over there, once again, you got to watch some of my videos. When I come in my door, the ceiling height is actually only 8 feet, which is what I was about to tell you. It's about 8 feet. And then you come over to this section, and this section goes up to 12 feet. So the whole shop isn't 12 feet. But I kind of like that, just in the aspect of heating and that kind of stuff. I can have the height where I need it, and then not have to heat anything above where I don't. So I do like the way this shop is laid out. As most people, I wish it was bigger, but for the most part, I got way more crap in here than I need to get rid of some, and it would be bigger. I've actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars when we first moved into this place, just for kicks and giggles. I moved like all the cars plus a couple of my friends' cars in here just to see if I could get a bunch of cars, and I had like 5, and I think maybe 6, but one of them was a Geo Metro, so it was tiny. But regardless, I had a lot of cars shoved in sideways and stuff like that. So, but anyways, it's a pretty good size shop for what it is. I can't complain. As you'll probably see in this video, when I'm not using it, I lift it all the way up so I can walk underneath it, and I can work around down here. I can even drive cars under it and work underneath it. Now that is something, if you have this high a roof, if you have rigs like mine, you are not going to get a car underneath them with a car on top, unless you have a very, very short car. I might be able to lift this all the way up, or one of my cars all the way up, and get my Mustang maybe underneath it when the time comes. But in this height, you're not going to get it underneath there. If you can lift it all the way, I have the ability to lift this lift all the way up, then yeah, you can get whatever car you want. I put my kid's minivan, when I lift this all the way up, I can get my son's minivan, and I believe now I could get this truck in here too, underneath this, but I wouldn't be able to put anything above it. Alright, I got a little sidetracked with something there, so I'm not sure exactly where I was at. But now, my garage, from that wall over here to that direction where my mom's apartment, where it goes down to 8 feet, this portion of my garage that the lift is in is 15 feet 8 inches from that wall to where it goes down and drops to 8 feet over there. So that, I have a 15 feet 8 inch by 30, what did I say, 31 feet, no, yeah, 31 feet this way. All that is the tall garage. So if you watch any of my videos, you'll see right above where you're at right now is a big giant mess of a store whole area. I never know exactly what to call it, because I can walk up there. I built it for actually having a little bit of storage, and at the time when I was running my auto body business, I had kind of a little area where I could have a little office up there, basically. So I went and measured a few more things, and the loft, which is above you, when it from where it comes out to that door over there is 23 feet. So in theory, what I'm trying to say is, if you wanted to buy one of these Wildfire XLT, I got the 9,000 pound XLT one, the absolute minimum I would say you have to have for a garage, and still be able to kind of work around the whole thing, would probably be about 25 feet lengthwise. And that's if you have a big truck like this. If you have a car, you could probably get away with 23 feet. And that would give you plenty of room. But my big giant 4-door crew cab truck, you need I'd need about 25. Because right now it's above me where I'm at. And I only have about maybe 1.5 feet between this and what would be 23 feet. And it's pretty much inches away from the door in the back right now. So if you had a normal sized car that would fit on this without overhanging like my truck does on both sides, you could get away with a 23 feet. But I'd say if you have any trucks or anything like that, you want about 25 foot lengthways. And where my garage goes down to the, or comes down to the 8-foot mark. I have 15 feet 8 inches from side to side. So, and if there was a wall coming straight down there, and there is a wall straight down over here, I would feel I could walk all the way around the car and work on it with that 15 feet 8 inches. So you might get away with 15 feet yet again if you had a smaller car. I would say that would be the absolute smallest garage you could have to put one of these in. And when you weren't working on stuff on the lift, you'd want it up in the air where you could walk around underneath it. Now the door, I would say the minimum door you would want would be a 10-foot door height-wise, 10-foot door wide-wise. That is what I have. And I could, if I put this down on the wheels, roll this all the way out of my garage, barely. Because they only give you measurements from the outside to the outside of the pillars, I believe. And the actual measurements come out, because there's feet down on the bottom, another 3 or 4 inches. So from side to side, in fact I can measure that. So from side to side out to the outside of each foot is exactly 10 feet, what I just measured right now. So if you got a skinnier door than that, you're not rolling this thing out your door. And height wise, so now I went ahead and measured everything, just kind of the biggest dimensions you're going to need just at the widest parts of this lift. And from the bottom, the floor, up to the pillar, plus you need a couple inches of thread for the lock nuts up there. I'm going to go ahead and say 8 feet 9 inches. It's a little bit shorter than that, but 8 feet 9 inches should more than cover the height you need to be able to push this out a door. But on top of that, you do have the wheels, which is going to bring it up another couple inches. So yet again, I would say you need at least a 9-foot. I would go with 10-foot door to be able to push this in and out, 10 foot wide, 10 foot high, to fairly comfortably, or minimally actually, be able to push this in and out. Now you might be able to put it at an angle and push one, as long as you have the height. If you had a smaller door, you might be able to put it at an angle, put one side of it out or one pillar out, push it that way, get the other one out, you know, because you do have a smaller section here that the actual ramp, where the ramps go across here. So, but that's you need to figure this stuff out. I'm giving you what I would consider minimum garage height, minimum garage width, minimum garage door height and width, all those things. So 8 feet 9 inches with it sitting on the ground. You're going to have a couple more inches, I believe somewhere in there. I have the measurements with some on one of my videos. I know I have the measurements of it, how high it is off the ground with the wheels on it. I don't know if it's going to be in this one. Yet again, 10 feet from one end to the other is the furthest width of this. And I will say, I am not counting the motor, which sticks out quite a ways this way as well. So that motor also sticks out from the pillar about 18 inches, just for your information as well. And it can stick out towards the back like what I have mine. I have it this way. But you can also put it sideways and have it pulling out to the side as well. But either way, you're going to need an extra 18 inches or so. And then length, counting the bottom part of the post, the foot that it sets on, from this furthest side here all the way that way, is 16 feet 10 inches in length. So that gives you room for your feet that way. So hopefully this is helping somebody out, figuring out, can I fit this in my shop? Because I measured probably 20 times and still questioned whether or not I thought this would fit and work in my shop. Now, a couple things. It fits and works in my shop fairly well, but with my truck in here, I can walk around to this side no problem. And if you look at where my Mustang is here come up, there's a couple feet or more to this wall. And this wall right here is where I'm saying it comes down and goes over to it's down to 8 feet here. So from there to there is the 15 feet, I believe, 8 inches from this wall. So if that came straight down right here, I'd have more than enough room on this side to walk around and do things, and probably even have a couple toolboxes here. Now on this side, on the other hand, I have a toolbox right here, and if I was able to shove it that way more, I would be able to walk in here, but as it is right now, I cannot walk through here. And then on the other side of this, yet again, that's why I'm talking smallest garage size. You got to question whether or not you're okay with this, because really, you know, this is the minimum. That the garage size I gave you a little bit ago is the minimum you could have, because as you can see, that's all the room I have between my door and the back end of this truck. Now yet again, this truck is a crew cab 1998 with the extra long box to boot. It's the, I think, 9-foot box or whatever it is. It's got an extra foot or so, or 16 inches, I don't know what it is, back here that a lot of trucks don't have in the bed. So this is an abnormally huge truck. And I will also say, I cannot put the safety plates back here, so I found my own plate and built my own thing to keep the tires chalked up, so to speak. Over there I got a whole nother setup going on because I couldn't find another plate like this. So you cannot use, even without the ramps on it, you cannot use the plates with this truck on both sides and still have the safety function there. So once again, you need to choose what you're comfortable with doing, and you are responsible for your own safety. If you choose to do anything I do, I am not responsible. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, don't do it. But my truck barely fits on this lift. Also, my truck, I have weighed it, and the way it sits now is a little over 7,000 pounds. This lift is 9,000 pound rated, so I'm good with that. It lifted it with absolutely no problem whatsoever. I can sit and push against these and be comfortable that it's going to stay where I want it to stay. I am ecstatic with this lift as far as safety. I'll give you that right now. I think it is, bar none, the safest lift I looked at. That's why I bought it. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to see the information coming up on this lift, as well as me putting this lift together, I have several videos, or a few videos as of now, on this lift in particular. So the best way to go find that is go to my channel, look in the playlist, and you'll see a wildfire lift playlist. As well as all the rest of my videos have fit into a playlist somewhere. That's the best way to find my videos, from mechanical stuff to DIY homeowner stuff. I have all kinds of tips and tricks and things that I have videos on. Over 730 some videos as of now anyway. So go check out my channel. Somewhere up in the corners and sides and down below, they'll probably be popping up video things. One of those will be for the wildfire lift. So yet again, if you want to look at any more stuff on this particular lift, click on that and that'll take you to there. Alright, thanks for watching Junkworks DIY Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one.